Hello and welcome back to On the Couch with Nikki, where I bring you experts for everyone. Gone are the days where reading, writing and arithmetic is all that children have to learn in school. In today's fast-paced world, children need so much more. And this is being delivered to them in what is known as positive education. But what is positive education? How does it work? How effective is it? So who's with me on the couch today? I have Mr. Andre Casson, the head of the Australian International School here in Singapore, here to shed some light. Andre, positive education, a bit of a buzzword, a bit of an umbrella term. What does it actually mean? What makes positive education?
Positive education is really about providing our students with those skills, not just to exist, but to flourish. So at the Australian International School, it's all about allowing our students to be the best versions of themselves. So at AIS, our focus has 5 key pillars. The first one is about being mindful. And so the students have the skills to be in the moment. They're not thinking about their lunchtime when they're sitting in their science lesson. They are here in the moment and being mindful about what they're doing.
Okay.
Second point is about being resilient. The only thing that we can guarantee in our lives is that things will go awry, things will go wrong. Resilience is about getting back up when things do go a little bit wrong.
Grit.
Grit, exactly. Another great word, great Aussie word,
Lovely.
grit.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Gratitude. In our lives, we've got so much to be thankful for. Being truly grateful is not just about seeing those moments of appreciation, but it's actually doing something about it. Fourth one is about being in a growth mindset. For me to say, I can't speak Chinese, that is very much a fixed mindset.
Yeah.
But if I say to you, Nikki, I don't speak Chinese yet, it means that I have the potential to maybe learn Chinese.
Yes.
And to be able to articulate myself in Chinese.
It's an open statement rather than a closed statement.
Absolutely. And the final pillar for us at the Australian International School is this whole idea of character strengths. What we try and do is we try and work with our students and work with their areas of strength. Too often do we spend our time focusing on what we're not good at, rather than doubling down on what we are good at.
Yeah.
So with our students, we actually show them, these are your areas of strength. So they're the 5 pillars of our positive education course at AIS.
Okay, they are some pillars. You could create a curriculum, a whole curriculum just around those 5 pillars. Like each one of those pillars is really a huge mountain to climb, I would think, with children. And it's all very well having the mission statement, if you like, but how actually is it rolled out? How do you achieve each one of those pillars?
We do need to devote time within our day to focus on these areas.
Yes. So it's woven into the daily curriculum.
Correct.
Okay.
So it has aspects in our Strive classes, in our timetables, where we actually devote some particular and specific time to these areas.
Yeah.
But to really work properly, it needs to be a part of everything we do. It needs to be part of the fabric of the school.
That's what I mean. Each one of these pillars has to have a deliberate action attached to it, or it's just words.
Correct.
Because there's a lot of kids that aren't grateful.
Correct.
And they don't have an open mindset. And they're not particularly resilient either. So it's not so easy to build these pillars or to make them real. So how much time of the day do you allocate to it, or how structured is it?
Well, as I mentioned to you, there are some specific times that we do allocate to it.
Yeah.
But really, it's all about intentionality. We're looking for opportunities where we might be able to weave in these pillars as part of what the students are actually doing. So it doesn't happen by chance. If you leave things to chance, then they are guaranteed to fail.
But some of it has to be organic. So what you're saying is you structure certain elements of each of the pillars into the curriculum and into the daily learning, and then as things organically happen, you remind them and you keep that muscle warm throughout the day.
100%. Okay, 100%. You have to have that intentionality, but to say, okay, right now I'm going to teach you resilience.
Yeah.
That has no authenticity attached to it.
No, it doesn't. It's great that this is even happening, but I guess people will be wondering, is it really? Or is it just words? Like, how is this actually going to be effective? How long does it take? How do you know?
The how do you know is one of the real challenges of education. There's this wonderful quote that I really took to heart early on as a teacher, and that was, take heart, the seeds that you plant today will grow tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I have had students come back to me and talk about some of the lessons that I've taught, to see kids, to see young men and women going out and making a difference for good with the lessons that you've taught them in class.
Well, then that's how you know.
Yeah, correct.
Isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are the parents on board with this? Because I know parents want the score. They judge a school by the score. They want their kid to get into the right college so they can get the right job. So is there a trade-off with education to even fit all this positive education in?
Education, or good education I should say, has to be about the whole child. A child that has resilience, a child that has a growth mindset, a child that is grateful for the gifts that they are given, I promise you, they are the children that are going to succeed on those final exams.
Yeah.
So much more than the child that just sits there and swats and studies the whole time. You're never going to achieve the marks that you can unless this is part of who you are. Yes, it is the grades that you get. They may get you into good universities and they may get you a job at the good company. But moving from that good job at a good company into the C-suite only happens if you have these life skills.
Yes.
And if we don't teach them to our children now,
Yes.
then we are not preparing them for success in life.
I think this is the next wave of education. I just think some people may not be ready for it or realise or recognise the importance of it. So it's a little bit like politics. Do you want to get the votes now, or do you want what's best for the country? So I think it's great that you want what's best for, ultimately, these kids who are going to become adults to be able to flourish. The teachers, there's so much more now that teachers need to be able to give and learn and provide. So how do you train the teachers to build these pillars?
They love their students.
Yeah.
They love what they do, and they know that what they're learning through positive education is going to support these kids going forward.
This level of resilience and confidence and self-esteem in children is required now more than ever in the world that they're living in, with social media and selfies and likes and comments, and it's rough out there. So if they don't have these skills, they're not even going to be able to ride that storm.
If our children do not have levels of inner confidence, of self-efficacy, of self-esteem, they're not going to be able to ride this horrible wave that is coming behind them. We just need to love our kids and make them understand that they should love themselves.
Yeah.
And look, let's face it, they're going to make mistakes. But the likelihood of it being an enormous mistake is so much less if we as parents and we as schools are working on the skills that will allow them to negotiate these challenges. And above all else, them knowing that we love them, which will allow them to love themselves, that when they're confronted with these choices about alcohol, or as you say, selfies, or social media, they're going to be able to move forward.
There's going to be a crisis if these kids don't have these skills. So bravo to Australian International School for actually rolling it out. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's so important that children have these skills to be able to deal with the challenges they're going to face in life. And it's so wonderful that schools like the Australian International School are rolling out a positive education scheme. And I hope that other schools follow suit as well. Thanks everyone, I'll see you next time.